time it is. Marvin Devine, Hoover, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, Axel, and Hoover, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the juice. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing it.
All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 132. We are back in the building tonight on our regularly scheduled time last 2 weeks, Wednesday and then Friday, but we're back to Thursday standard time. Just want to welcome back to the podcast, special guest Rob, my boy Rob LaVenture over here. Rob's always a returning guest of the podcast, always offers great insights. So just want to welcome you back, bro. Appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back once again. It's always a pleasure. Come, spit some knowledge with the boys, rub off each other, learn from each other. So.
Exactly, man. We're here to grow, man. We're here to that's the thing, man. When you got a solid group around you, man, we can always spit some knowledge, bro. Kind of inspire one another, and it's one of the greatest things, man. It's one of the good things about having a podcast. So spit knowledge not just between us, but to other people. So happy to be here tonight and utilize that time. Just want to make a note, guys. George will actually not be on tonight. George is not feeling well. He's sick. So if you're wondering where George is at, he's not going to be here. We do have our boy Mario coming on too. He'll be on shortly. He's just running a little behind, but he'll be here to offer advice too. But I thought of you guys immediately when I was talking about this topic. I was like, we all kind of grew up middle class, so this is a good topic, man. And we're all trying to grow and get to a level where we're completely financially free, man. So I think that this is a very relevant topic between the three of us, for sure.
For sure, yeah, exactly. Like we can learn from the mistakes of our parents, learn where they did well, learn where they didn't do so well, and be even better as they want us to be.
Exactly. And I actually said that in a promo. I was like, there's nothing wrong about growing up middle class. I'm very blessed and I'm very appreciative of what my parents did to, sacrifice, man, and put me, I went to Catholic school. My parents sacrificed off of the income that they did have to, put me through it, raise me and my brother right and well. And I always tell my parents I'm so appreciative for everything they did for me. But they did some good things that I really learned from, and then they did some like, financially some things that I can learn not to do, financial mistakes, and that's all right. That's what life is, man. And when I have a family, I want my kids to be able to grow from and learn from me too. Because when you can learn from other people, man, you save time essentially.
All right. What's the point of making the same mistake twice? So if you can learn from
Exactly.
your parents' mistakes and avoid it, hey, you will move even further. So I'm very true. Like just like Steve said, I'm very appreciative of my parents. I grew up fairly middle class. Didn't have to really want for much. I couldn't get anything I want, but I had everything I needed. So very appreciative.
Exactly. I always tell my parents, I'm appreciative of the way you raised me, because I wasn't raised like super spoiled, which I'm actually very grateful for that, man, because unfortunately when people are brought up very spoiled, man, it's very hard for them to kick that mentality when reality just, comes and hits them in the face, because the world, we've said it multiple times, the world does not owe you shit. At the end of the day, it doesn't owe you anything, man. So you have to work hard for anything you have in this world.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes look at some NBA players' sons, stars, their sons. They never do as well as the father sometimes. In some occasions, yes, but it's because that drive is not there. They have everything they need, they want. Well, they don't need to hustle for more. So
Exactly.
it can be tough.
Exactly. That's why like some people, there's a controversial topic, and I know quite a few people. They're either mentors or some people I went to school with that became millionaires, and a lot of them all say the same thing. Like some of them already have kids and run it this way, and the ones that was like my age I went to school with, they got real young babies or kids, but their kids ain't at that level yet. They told me, I don't. A couple people told me, say like and they've used this like analogy. I've actually heard this from Andrew Tate too. He said, or I think it was Tristan Tate actually. He said, when I have a kid, my kid is gonna fly commercial. I will fly first class. He's like, I earned that. And some people, it rubs some people the wrong way because they're like, my child should be able to enjoy that lifestyle too. It's a little controversial, but I get the point that they're making behind it. They want their kid to be able to earn things in life. They're still going on that nice vacation. They're just sitting commercial instead of first class, which the parents, I guess, earned. So it's controversial, but I do understand also where they're coming from too. But a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with that. But it's like I also know people, like I have a cousin who does very well for himself, and as soon as this kid turned 15, he made him get a job, and now he's in high school. He's got an intern. He's like 17 now. He's got an internship already for college. Like he's like, I'll pay for your college, but you still going to start working. You still going to start making your own money. They teach teach them early because they didn't get there. They grew up middle class. He grew up middle class himself and had to work to get where he was. So teaching them early, man.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
It's hard to really grind and be effective when everything just handed it to you. So
It's very, very true.
especially as a man, nothing's handed to us.
No. Like we've said this before. I'll go back to us tonight. Marius, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, you guys? How are you?
What's up,
Rob?
man? What's going on?
Good. Looking fresh, man. I like the beard, bro. You're growing it
Yes,
out.
sir. It's looking clean.
I appreciate it, boys. Thank you, man. Pleasure to be back on the show, bro. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got that New Orleans glow too, bro. You're tan in the face, bro. I see the tan, bro. We're down in New Orleans.
Man, New Orleans was so much fun, man. I can't wait for our next vacation.
Yeah, man. If anybody doesn't know, me and Marius, we were down for our boys' bachelor party. Was it last 2 weeks ago, but into the weekend. So we just came back last week. But you got that glow, bro. Got the tan.
Let's go, man. I just got to go to the beach to finish it off, and I'll be good.
There you go, man. And we were just talking about kids who grow up in already a wealthy household, kind of teaching them to earn everything they have. And we were also saying about men, nothing's handed to us in life. Yeah, no, it's like women a lot of times, we've talked about this before, and not to even be controversial, just realistically how it is, women can find a man who's going to provide. Men, it doesn't come as easy like that. We have to grind and work hard for everything we have. And not saying all women don't, but the dynamic is different. You know what I mean? The dynamic is different for sure.
Yeah.
So it's as a young man, you have to work, especially if you're not already wealthy. But you know what? I would rather have the mindset where I have to work for what I have. Because guess what? If mommy and daddy ain't there and that money dries up, you gonna
What you gonna do?
you're gonna need to know what to do.
Very true.
It was at this moment that you knew you effed up.
Yeah, you don't want to be like 50 years old. Mommy and daddy ain't there no more. All the money dried up, and now look. Yeah, this is a little different. Like, I will get into the topic. I just want to say, like, how about that whole submarine thing that's going on right now? Like, the people that spent 200 and was it 250,000 to go on the Titanic. Speaking of wealth, or not the Titanic, to go on a submarine to go see the Titanic.
The tour of the Titanic.
Yeah, what exactly happened? So they tried to go down there and they got lost, or because I haven't been paying attention much to the news as of late.
Yeah, I think they paid for this. It was like 5 people. One of them, it was the guy's kid that went, and there's been other tours to the Titanic that have been successful. People have gone down and seen it and came back. I think a woman was on one back in like October. I saw, but with this one, I didn't read too much into it, but they essentially spent like $200,000 to go, and there was a lot of people that warned against it. Like they said, like that the controls weren't in place for it. Now they're at the bottom of the ocean and they can't find it, but it's been past the period of oxygen. So at this point, if they're still under the water, they're not alive anymore. The odds of them being alive is slim to none because they essentially at this point would have run out of oxygen.
Oh yeah, no, because I heard the Titanic is like what 12,000 feet beneath the ocean. That's like I know that once you get certain like past a certain atmospheric pressure, like with very little oxygen, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you couldn't pay me $200,000 to go down there to see that, man. You could not pay me $200,000, bro. Like, anything could go wrong, bro. There's been multiple times where people have gone down. I'd rather see space than probably go down there. You know what I mean? If I was gonna do anything, I'd probably rather go up towards space than go down into the water because I don't know, like I don't know. To me, like I wouldn't go down there. But
I don't know, man. They're offering flights to the Mariana Trench. You guys want to come?
I get it. When you got money, I think at a certain point, life becomes about experiences. So it's probably something they all really, really wanted to do, like their whole life. You know, something. It's like going to space. You know, it's an experience. Most people can't ever do that. So they probably thought, you know, what the hell? Guy brought his kid too, which is a shame. Like, yeah, so him and his kid are both gone. Like, likely, unless they're somewhere out in the middle of the ocean, nobody can find them. But odds are if they're under that water. I heard you can't even open the doors to the thing. Somebody has to be outside the thing to open it.
Yeah,
so,
it's sealed tight.
Yeah, and you're in a tight little thing. So like, it was a mission that was supposed to come up, and when they got up, they had people that were going to be ready to open it for them. So you can't even open it from the inside. I heard.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess it's a precaution so nothing happens. Like you don't accidentally open it when you're down there because if you do, you would burst to shreds. You would just burst into a million pieces because of the pressure. But somebody found me. I don't know who it was. It says I can go to space. It's called DMT. Yeah, I gotta find out who this is because I gotta give them the credit. But like,
I've heard some crazy shit about DMT, man.
For real, dude. That space is that George on the other line? No, I'm playing. Let's see. I just want to see who it was. Let's see. It says right here. Oh yeah, it was George.
It was George.
Yeah, he said it is. It's George. He said that ocean came for them submarine going very long. Yeah, I don't think it's coming back. Yeah, Mary. So I had said before we started, George is sick, so he's not feeling. His voice is like terrible. So yeah, he's not.
Hope you feel better, G.
Yes, sir. Likewise. But yeah, we can hop into the topic. I know we got kind of sidetracked with the whole thing, but I was like, speaking of wealthy people just dropping money, but yeah, I was telling Rob too. You know, we all grew up middle class, so like I thought, I also thought of you guys because you guys are both good, like money wise, financially. So, we're all grinding towards something bigger. We try to like follow some of the good advice that our parents gave us, and then make some of the less like some of the financial habits that our parents had growing up that kind of keep them middle class. Like that's the kind of advice where we try to we try to go a different way. We try to, learn from those mistakes and go in a different direction. And someone I know that's a millionaire, they had told me, they're like, it's sometimes hard to do too, because you're conditioned to believe something your whole life growing up. Like, one of the ones I can say, saving is everything. And I'll say saving is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because, you have certain goals and objectives you're trying to save towards, but it's going to be very hard to ever become a multimillionaire by saving money. And that's just realistic. And that's just honest. That's why they say investing is how you essentially separate yourself from being able to, if you can learn to invest your money and learn what to do with your money. Investing is a great tool. You could be investing in the stock market, funds. You could be investing in real estate, but understanding how to invest your money is a critical way to really be able to break that that barrier from middle class to actually wealthy and financially free. You guys want to elaborate on that at all?
Yeah, very, very true. That's actually one of my points I have down as well. I have not investing money, just saving.
Yeah,
That's a bad habit. Saving is really good, like Steve referred to. Saving is good to a point. So my MO is 4 to 6 months worth of expenses to save, just to save for that rainy day. You lose your job, something happened to your investment, a medical bill, a car breakdown. You have that savings to keep you security for 6 months. I like to go 4 to 6 months of expenses. So that's a great way to save you from. My mentor would just say, save your money so one day your money can save you. So um, when something happens, you can use that money to help you out. But at the same time, after 6 months of saving, particularly maybe for a goal or anything, after that, saving's not really that great because if it's your money just sitting in a bank account, inflation is just eating at it. It is not really doing anything. And I like to believe of money like a tool that you can use to work for you, either to go get more money or to achieve some happiness, like buy a car or something like that. But if it's just sitting there doing nothing, after a certain amount of savings, saving in excess won't really do much for you. And like Steve said, you can't save to be a millionaire. So
yeah. It'll essentially get you could save a bunch of money, which I mean I guess it's better than spending it all. But the only good thing the saving really will do, it'll give you more money to play with and invest in. That's the one thing saving will do for you. But eventually, if you want to get to that level of actual real wealth, investing is the way to go. A lot of people will tell you though, they'll be like, I can't be thinking about my retirement now. And that's all right. I think a lot of people don't understand that there's different ways to invest your money. You don't have to just put everything into an IRA. It's good to put a portion into an IRA because you do have to kind of think about your future self. But there are things called brokerage accounts. A lot of people don't understand that. You could put money into a brokerage account and say you're saving for a house. If you invest that money over years, you could pull that money out of a brokerage account penalty free. You're not going to get hit like an IRA. You can't pull out that money until you're 59 and a half without it. I think it's a 10 or 15% penalty, but you can invest in a brokerage account. You can invest. It does require capital and you do have to save. Like Rob said, you need to save your money. You do have to save first to be able to invest. But once you have that money, real estate too. And real estate, a lot of it is leverage, right? You're going to get leverage. That's how you get, building great credit and getting leverage. And that's everyone I know that's a millionaire. They say you leverage other people's money. That's how you get rich. You do have to do, if you're investing in real estate property, it's not just as easy as that. I know Rob knows as a real estate investor himself, you do have to do all the groundwork up front, the projections, understand how you're going to make money. You have to do all the legwork up front. But these are things that can be learned and you can learn it. And, YouTube's a valuable source. There's a lot of cheap resources out there too. I always say Skillshare. You can learn from people that have already done it, or maybe you have acquaintances around you that you can learn from.
yeah, and you don't always have to go that route. There's so many routes you can go
Yes.
to investing.
Yes.
Some ways you can even give people your money who get your money to work for you, such as the
Right.
IRA, 401k. I know some real estate, with my real estate company, we take partners' money and invest it, and then we give them a return. So they
Yes.
don't even have to do any of the work. So sometimes you don't even have to learn all this stuff, and you just have to know how to allocate your money in the right way and make sure your returns are growing and compounding over time.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are more scared. They hear the word investing and they freak out. I know a lot of people like that, like that are like my age, 30, and they've never invested. It's not like the end of the world. You could be 30 years old, not have invested. It's better to be 30 than be like 60 or 70. Like, you know, you still have time. It is great to start in your 20s, but never feel like you're behind. The best thing is to take action today. Is start today. Never feel like it's too late or like I'm way behind. Also, don't get too comfortable too, because a lot of people can be like, okay, yeah, I got tons of time. It's like, don't get too comfortable either. Do the legwork, try to understand things. But like Rob said, that's a great point. You can give other people your money to put it to work for you. And that's the great thing. A lot of people don't understand that. And that's one of the big things. And most people that are rich do understand that. They'll tell you that. Yeah. Like somebody told me, like, again, this guy who's big in real estate, and he's made his money and he's learned, and Marius knows him too. We went to school with him. He said he had wrote a book, and the thing he said, he's like, you can either take $50,000 in cash, you can buy one property. He's like, or you can get bank debt 90%. He's like, you can literally get the bank's money to work for you. You can get 5 properties, 10,000 down, and get 5 properties. He's like, or you could just put 50,000 into one property. He's like, the 5 properties odds are going to make you more money in the long term. But a lot of people are scared to do that. He's like, you know, he said, like, when starting, he's like, that's what I did. He's like, I can tell you because he's like, I've made the money. He's like, but yeah, 1 property versus 5 properties. A lot of people get overwhelmed, but still, you know.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, I guess if you're getting into real estate, maybe it might make sense to go for the first property just to kind of get your feet wet and to get experience. And I think the more experienced you become and the more years you spend in the field, then you can go after 5, 10, 15 properties when you feel more comfortable. I think when you first get, I think, you know, because that's probably why a lot of people are nervous. You know, they've never invested before. They've never gotten that field before. So the way they're looking at it is like, okay, well, maybe if I just throw my ducks in one corner, I can just focus solely on that property, and then down the line, once that property makes me money, then I can go after the other ones and make more money off those other properties.
Yeah, I completely get the notion of one property, but I would list the only thing like 100%, like, yeah, when you're first starting out, 5 properties is probably going to overwhelm you when you haven't even invested in one yet. But instead of taking that whole 50,000, what you could do is you could just take 10,000, put it into one property, and still have that other $40,000 in free cash flow behind you too. You know, leveraging other people's money.
Right. You can put that 40 in the stock market. You can put it somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I get what Steve is saying. He's not specifically saying like you should get 5 properties right now.
Yeah.
He's saying utilize leverage, because leverage creates wealth, allows you to freeze up your cash to do other things to create multiple streams. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people fear debt. That's one of the biggest things. A lot of people fear debt, and there's good debt and there's bad debt though. See, like if it's a debt towards an asset,
yeah, but that's
good debt.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the problem. Most people don't know that there's good debt and bad debt. When people hear the word debt, they freak out. They always think of the bad debt. They never ever think of the good debt, so they never see it that way.
Very true.
It is. That's absolutely true, man. You took the words right out of my mouth. So I'll give you an example, guys. You know, bad debt, consumer debt, credit card debt. You know, debt you're just throwing on buying liabilities and a bunch of consumer items. You're going to Target. You're going to Louis Vuitton, buying yourself a Louis Vuitton bag. You know, those things are like you're going out and you're buying clothes and bags and this and a third, a bunch of consumer material items. Yes, that's bad debt. If you don't have the money to purchase it and you're just putting it on, you're not paying the bill off in full off your credit card each month. That's bad debt to have. It's not good debt. Those are liabilities. If you're utilizing debt for assets, people say, "Oh, student loans is a terrible thing." Yeah, but student loans are an investment. If you really know what you want to do and it's a career that's going to pay off, then yeah, if it's a practical career, then you know what you want to do. Yeah, student loan debt is an investment. It's an investment towards your career and your financial future. A car, a liability. You know, we all want a nice car, right? It's okay. You know, if you got the money to, you know, pay that car, hey, by all means. But just understanding like that, like in the eyes of like the world, like it's going to be considered bad debt. But most people, if you have that money to pay that car, like, hey, treat yourself. You know what I mean? But liabilities are considered bad debt. But if you like good debt is assets. Like a mortgage or a home that's going to appreciate, it's going to make you money. That's good debt.
I think a good rule of thumb is when you get debt on something, if that thing is going to increase in value over time or put money in your pocket, it's a good debt. If it's
Yes.
going to decrease in value and it takes money out your pocket, it's a bad debt. So
Right.
you get a debt on a business to start a business. I don't recommend that, but it's so your business kick off. It was a good debt. You get on a house, the value goes up. If you're renting it, it pays you. It's a good debt. But
Right.
you get debt for a PlayStation 5, that thing kind of drops in value as you use it and it doesn't pay you. So it's a bad debt.
Exactly.
Yeah,
As much as
and
we
on
love
top
our
of that, if you do have bad debt, make sure you pay it off. Because if
Yeah.
when those credit cards come calling every 30 business days looking for their money and you don't pay it, not only is it going to affect your credit score, it could put you into bankruptcy, it could put you in collections. So whatever you owe, just make sure you pay it off.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and even if you're paying the bare minimum, you're still accruing interest. So understand that. A lot of people think I'll just pay the minimum. Yeah, but if you're not paying the balance off in full, you're going to get some type of percentage of interest getting charged to your card. So understand that. When I was younger, I always thought, I'll pay the minimum, pay the minimum. When I was like in my early 20s, and hey, you get charged interest. So it's if so, some people it's tough for them. Like say they get a home and they don't have the money as it is. They put the down payment, they put the closing costs, and then guess what? The home's not furnished. They got it. Then what are they going to do if they don't got the money? They got to take out a loan to furnish the home. It's like it's tough, but like that's me and Rob were actually talking about this before the podcast. I think so many people are focused on saving money. And like I said, saving money is not a bad thing because you need to save a certain amount of money to even be able to invest, to be able to do certain things, to have that emergency fund, 4 to 6 months worth of cash flow, even maybe a year, whatever you feel like comfortable with your emergency fund is. You have to start by saving. But a lot of people focus more on saving than trying to find ways to make more money. If you find ways to make more money, and in today's day and age, there are so many ways, you just really have to be willing to put in the time and the work to really make that money. If you do that, then say you're making $1,000 a month. I hope not, but say you're making $1,000 a month versus and then trying to save money and you have bills and everything else and your expenses. Just an example. It's going to be very hard to save 10. What do they say? Rule of thumb: save 10% of your monthly salary. It's going to be hard for you to save that $100 when you got bills and everything else. But say you're making $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and then saving $300 to $400, and your bills were already within that $1,000 expense range. Now it's going to be a lot easier for you to save 10% of your money. See what I'm saying? Like find ways to supplement your income, make more money. And it doesn't have to be the most glamorous thing, to be honest. Say you're not you don't have a business or anything, but you're saving up towards a goal. You could just be doing side jobs here and there. Like say you have a skill, you can offer services. You can literally, there's no shame in doing Uber or something. You're trading time for money, but that's okay if you're trying to supplement your income. There's so many ways today to make extra income.
And
On
to
the
go
side.
off that, one habit I have written down is when income rises, expenses rises. So that's one, just like Steve was saying, is you're making 1,000 a month, but your expenses is so much that you can't save. And that's the problem a lot of times when people's incomes rise. So now he was making 1,000, but now he's making 4,000 a month. He's making good money, but now his expenses just shot up because he's feeling himself. He feel good. He went and bought a new car, got a new crib. So now it's not really about how much money you make, it's how much you keep. So if his expenses are 3,500 a month and he's making 4,000 a month, now he really only has about $500 to play with. So he's still kind of living on edge. And that $500 he can be using to save up his savings or invest in it. But it's so little because his expenses are so high. So that's one habit that we should definitely try to cut. Like as our income goes up, try to keep our expenses at a minimum. And I like to go off percentages. So maybe if my income shoots up 50%, I maybe increase my expenses 20%. So percentages is a great way to manage that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that, man, because that's a phenomenal point. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I had my first real job, and then I had my second one. I was making more money, and then I was wondering why am I almost in the same position I am now. This was my early mid 20s. I'm why am I spending the same much? I had to really go in and dive into my expenses. I'm oh wow, when I got this job, I started increasing my spending in this category, and I'm
Yeah.
oh well, I gotta cut that back, and it's it's interesting how that works. If you go from making $50,000 to $100,000 a year, your lifestyle is going to change. So you're like, oh, I got this. Like I got this type of money. So it's like, oh, let me go buy
I'm
this.
eating out every weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
be
mean,
down Miami every weekend. Like, let's go. Like,
I'm a prime example. I mean, a lot of these things I've done. Like when I was in college, I got a nice big refund check. So it was a nice lump sum. Instead of me being smart with it, my income rose, but I decided to rise myself. I went out and bought a used Mercedes Benz. I was like, I'm going out, bought a nice flashy car. I didn't need that car in college. Like, come on, what
right.
was I thinking? And it's like that car, man, it was so expensive to maintain, so expensive to fix sometimes. And it was just a dumb idea. But my income went up, so I just said, I'm gonna go buy a Benz. So that was
Hey,
like
was
a
it the
mistake.
was it the S class, bro?
No, it was an E class.
It was the E class.
It
All
was a used E class.
right, I want to give me the S class, bro.
When you're at that level, man, for sure, for sure. That's the thing. Like, we all could do that right now. We could all just go out and go, like, oh, I'm gonna go pay a high car note and get a freaking S class for $80,000 car and put some down. But you know what? It would be stupid because guess what? You have to have that. People think just because they can pay that monthly payment, oh, I can use it. It's like, yeah, but that's the thing. If you're struggling to pay that monthly, that's a high monthly payment. If you don't have a lot of money to put down on that car, you're going to be paying a high monthly payment. And most people think just because they can afford that monthly payment that they can afford the car. That ain't always realistically how it is. If it's
Right.
holding you from saving money in other areas, that's a problem.
And let's say you lose your job.
Yeah.
Boom. Now you're stuck with the car and that big payment, and then all your expenses start piling up. That's why
Yep.
it's smart to be do it. I like to use percentages. So like if
Yeah.
it's only 10% of my income, that payment, I'll be okay if I lose my job or lose whatever business, whatever. It's still I'll be okay to handle it for a couple months until I
Yeah.
find out what else I want to do.
Yeah. Now, if it's 50%, then that's a problem. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people I know that got car notes that are like 50% of their income. I'm like, $1,000 car note. It's like or maybe like it's like they make 3,000 a month and their car note's like 1,100 because they drive in this like $80,000 car. It's like
Hmm.
that's a 30-year income.
Wow.
Wow.
Too much.
Thankfully I bought my Honda outright, so I'm
You're
good. I don't
smart,
gotta worry
bro.
about the monthly
You're
You're
payments.
smart.
Woof.
Bro, and there's nothing
You're
wrong with that,
smart.
man. That's
You're very
smart, dude.
smart.
I drove an O2 you guys know an O2 Toyota Camry up until last summer, man. I made sure to save up my money to get what I wanted. Like, I know my parents were telling me as soon as I graduated college, oh, like you should drive a new car. Like, oh, like my aunt was asking, oh, when you gonna get a new car? We're gonna do this. I'm like, at the end of the day, I want to do what makes me happy. I got a student loan payment right now. I wasn't at the position I wanted to be, so I made sure to get what I wanted when I saved up correctly. That's the thing. Like, I didn't have a car note on that Toyota. So I was driving it. Like, I'd replace things here and there, but it still wasn't as much I would have been paying on a car note.
Hmm. Very
So
smart.
it's, you don't have to impress anybody else. Just understand. This is the thing I kind of want to roll into too. I think a lot of people, especially when you're not making a lot of money, you tend to think short term with your goals. I know it's hard, like when you're not making a lot of money, to really think long term, but you live like a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle because you're thinking so short term. And a lot of people can't even think like long term. They're like so just like it's hard for them because they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're like, where am I gonna buy my next how am I gonna spend my money on groceries next? How am I gonna do this? So it becomes challenging. But when you start to think long term, like that's the thing. Like, say with a car, for example, you don't need to impress anybody else. Understand what your long term goals are, and that's the thing. You can get a car when you're making good money. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it when you're broke. Like, you're always gonna stay broke if you have a high car note. Like, that's the thing. Who are you impressing? Realistically, just to make. You should just only do things for for your goals. Don't ever try to flex for other people.
Right.
That's a big
That's
one.
that's a big one. I also have that down. It's keeping up with the Joneses, just like you were
Yeah.
saying. Like I know somebody. He has a Range Rover, nice car, but he lives in the hood. It's like,
Yeah. Wait, is it still there, bro? Damn.
it's like, dude, and he's renting in the hood. It's like, what's the bro? What are you doing? Like,
Don't even own it,
but
man. It's
but
crazy.
hey, everybody has their own goals, their own outlook. But I personally don't think that's financially smart to have a Range Rover, but you're renting in a bad neighborhood. It's just like,
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. You see it so much though. You see somebody driving like a Porsche and like living in freaking North Philly. Like one time I was driving down North Philly, I think I don't know if it was a Porsche or it might have been I forget what was it. What was it? I don't think it was a Ferrari. I think I saw someone like driving a freaking like Maserati or something crazy and like that. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was used. It was like an older model, but I don't know. Like it's crazy. Like driving like down like in the hood. I don't know if they live there or not though. That's the thing. But you see it so much though. Like you hear stories. A lot of people live in North Philly and then they drive these real nice fancy Mercedes Benz or nice BMW or like something crazy. But that's the thing. You're paying a high car note, but you're like you said, you're renting. You're renting in an impoverished area. You know, it's already not a good area to begin with, but you're renting there, but you have a high car payment.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
Right.
nah, man. As much as I love the S class, man, I'm not even going to think about getting it until I make it. Until I get to the point where I have my own house, where I'm
Yes.
financially free, financially independent. Because as
Right.
beautiful as those cars are, man, they are an absolute pain in the ass to repair.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are basically like fun cars. Those are like your weekend cars. So when I get to that level, I'm definitely going to get the S class. But for right now, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. Yes. I mean, like I said, we're all sort of guilty of it as men. You know, we try to
Yeah.
flex.
Yeah.
You know, show off. Like I said, in college when I had that Mercedes, I was like, yeah, I was just
Yeah,
trying to
look
get
at
the
me.
girls. And then I realized, man, I don't need this car to get girls. It's talking to girls. Like half the girls don't even know I had the car when I was talking to them. So it's just like, you don't need all that stuff. I mean, do it for you. And like, if you feel like you're financially ready for it, hey, by all means, shoot the trigger. But definitely
Exactly.
don't kill yourself over it and keep up with the Joneses.
That's a great point, man. Great point that you have jot down there. I was gonna say too, when people who like somebody has it when like they're not even talking about it. Most people that got like a nice car when they like can barely afford it, they'd be like, "Oh, look at my car," and stuff like when they bragging about it. Like that's the first thing that comes up in conversation. You know that they want you to know about it. You know what? Like I think a woman's gonna find it real attractive if you got that car, but you real quiet
You
about
even
it.
talk
And then you
about it,
pick her
yeah.
up and she just gets in it. She's like, "Oh wow, like you got it like this." Like it's like people don't understand that. Like they like to talk about everything they got, like all their wins and everything. It's like, you know what? No, when you're humble, people are like, oh, he got it like that. Like he didn't even talk about it. Like
And
it's
trust me, from my experience, you don't need the car to get talked to the girl.
no.
You don't need it. That's really
Most women, I'm gonna tell you right now, like most people, like somebody, a YouTuber I follow, he's a millionaire. He had like a Maserati. He was driving down South Beach. He's like, you know who most of the people that come and approach the vehicle are? They're guys. They're like, yo,
Yeah.
man, look at this car, bro. Look at this car. That's sick. Like he's like, most of the people that approach the car are not women. They're
Yeah.
dudes. Like checking it out. It's like the dude, like there was like a meme too. It's like when you hit the gym and you start lifting weights, it's like you expect all the
mostly
women to leave
guys.
you. The bros be like, yo, bro, looking big, dog. Like,
Very true.
I was like, that's so freaking true, dude.
Oh, the irony.
Nah, it's true though. It's true. They be like, oh, looking big dog. Like, oh, I see you. Like, that's a big one. Another point I had tonight, I'm sure you guys can understand, like, see this. Like, me and Rob, I was talking to Rob Maris before we started about this. People treat their tax return like it's Christmas. Like, they get that tax return, but when you don't have a lot of money, people look forward to that. But what do most people do with those tax returns? Best Buy, Walmart, those companies, they know what they're doing around tax season. They have like the TV deals. They put like stuff out. You'll see all these deals going on around tax season because they know people are going to get their tax return. And they're going to go like, oh, let me go get a brand new TV. Let me go do this. Like you'll see a lot of specials going on around tax season. But that's another thing. A lot of people treat their tax return. It's only one time a year. Like it's Christmas. See, if they got a $2,000 tax return, they invested that money, that could bring them a lot more money. You know, it's only 2,000, but it's still something, you know, that's still something. Most people go out and make liabilities.
The way I see the tax return, man, is unless if you're using it to get an apartment to put a roof over your head, or you're using it to buy, an economical vehicle to get you from point A to point B, you're better off either just saving it or investing it. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense to just waste it, because if you waste it, you're not going to get any of that money back. And Steve, you are 100% correct, man. These companies know exactly what they're doing. Because I see those commercials during tax season all the time. Oh, sale, buy one, get one free. 50% off.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's by design. It's by
Yeah,
design.
they know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, they know, man.
I think-
Another good thing you could use that tax return for, if you have a lot of debt, say consumer debt or something, pay off some of that debt with that. You
Yeah,
know what I
true.
mean? Utilize that to pay off some of your debt.
True, very true. And I was gonna say, I think that's where percentages are so crucial, and I think that's why they're so effective because it doesn't really matter the amount. What matters is the plan. So, like, of course, you don't want to. Not everybody wants to invest all of their tax money. They want to have fun with it. It's like the first time they get a nice lump sum. But if you stick to a percentage plan, it's like, all right, I'm gonna take 30% of it to have fun, 20% to spend on expenses or whatever, and then invest the rest.
Exactly.
So then now it will still gratify you in terms of you being able to have fun with your tax money, but you're not using all of it. You're only using 30% of it. So you won't feel guilty of spending the whole thing. So you automatically put away the percentages, then you take your 30% and you go have fun with it. Why not?
Exactly. That's a good point, man. That's what they say. Like, like have a financial system in place for anything. If you're saving money, investing money, paying your bills, buying, and then having a little bit of spending money for yourself too, because you have to keep yourself sane. You know what I mean? You still have to have some type of joy in life. It's very difficult to cut everything and just go no spending at all. You have to do small things for yourself because you're working your ass off career wise. You're going to the gym. There's a lot of stress on you. There's a lot of stress on you. You do need to keep your mental health sane too, because it's difficult. But yeah, having a percentage plan is great. You say you're going to save 10-15% of your money. Cool. Say like 50% of it's bills. You pay your bills off, and then you save like 20 to 30% for your own spending. You know what I mean? Having a percentage plan in place. A book I read a long time ago, I always talk about it on this podcast. It's a good one. I think the guy's actually has a Netflix show now, but his book's been out for over 10 years. It's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. I don't know if you guys have ever read that book.
I've heard of that book. I've heard of it.
Yeah, he teaches a lot of automated systems, ways to automate your finances. So, boom, you have all your bills hitting on certain days. Boom, it's automatically all paid off. You already pay down those bills right away. You have automatic money taken out of your bank account right to your savings account. You got money getting taken out to your investment accounts. And it's like everything's just automated. And literally, he said you should only have to take 15 to 20 minutes at the end of every month to look at your finances. That's it. You shouldn't have to be looking at your finances every day. It's all right to do it at the beginning because you're going to want to make sure everything's, being allocated appropriately. He's like, but if you stick to a system, you don't really need to take that much time each month to really look at your money because you know what you're doing. You know the percentage plans. You know your budget, what you're doing. And yeah, it just makes your life a hell of a lot easier when you don't really have to sit there and stress your money all the time.
And the great thing about those plans is like you don't even need to be making like 200,000 a year, 300,000 because not everybody's gonna make that. It just be realistic. But the person that sticks to the plan will overcome and beat the person that makes 200,000 a year but doesn't have any plan or savings or investing and just spending it all over time. So that's the great thing about the plan. It's not always the amount, like how much money you're making every month. As long as you're sticking to those percentages and investing and being wise with it, over time, you'll see the growth and the compounding of it. And you'll probably beat the person making 150,000 a year, but just spending everything on frivolous stuff.
Exactly. You become rich through investing. And a lot of people, so say us, we're all around the age of 30. So it's like all of us right here today. We're all around the age of 30. So if you start investing today and just put a portion away each month, and then say you retire, 60 is the average retirement age. Say you're not. Well, let's just for the sake of it say we're not retiring early. Say you're retiring at like 60, 65. That's 30 to 35 years. You multiply 12 months, like out of those years, that's a lot of months, and you could literally allocate over $1 million. You could be making. You could have a few million saved by the time you're retired. Most people don't understand that. And all it takes is a small chunk today, each month, to have saved and put away, and then you can increase that as in your career you're making more money. You can always increase that amount that you put towards it, which could like triple it, quadruple it, and by the time you're retired, if you have a system where you have that set up, millions. Whereas if someone who didn't put any of that money away, they have zero by the time they retire.
Very true.
So that's literally how, like, if you want to. So next week we actually have a really good topic. Me and George, we have somebody coming on, and it's going to kind of tie into this. It's going to be how to become wealthy working a 9-to-5, because most people, like, unless you're a CEO working a 9-to-5 job, like, and even I would say 9-to-5s aren't really 9-to-5s when you get more responsibility in careers. Like, you're going to be working 12 hours, 15, but just for the sake of the lingo, 9-to-5, unless you're like a CEO or like something high, your odds are you're not going to be making $1 million per year in your career. You might make 500,000, 400,000, but to be making and clearing $1 million every year, unless you're like CEO executive level, you're probably not going to be making millions in your career. And it's a very small percentage that do. So that's why tools like investing are so important to really be able to get you to that level without, having clearing $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob, I know we talked about this before. Not everybody also is cut out to run a business. So a lot of people hear entrepreneur and business and this. Not everybody's cut out to run a business, and that's okay. Not everybody's built for that.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay. I would say it's like 20-80. 20% people can, 80% can. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But there's many ways to reach wealth or the wealth that you want. It doesn't even have to be a billionaire. Whatever wealth that you want for yourself, there's many ways to reach that. And like Steve was saying, investing is key. You put those percentages away, you invest it wisely, you can reach that. Steve Freeze.
Yeah, I think he heard you say about investing, man. He's like, yo.
The bars are too cold. It froze them up.
It's like we can't handle this shit no more.
Yeah, but yeah, so I definitely think sticking to your percentages, utilizing time in your advantage, definitely will help you over time. You don't have to own a business, be an entrepreneur, this, that. There's many ways. You can work multiple jobs and then use the income from the multiple jobs to invest as well.
Yeah, one thing I never understood, man. I don't know why people like the shit or hate on 9 to 5 so much. Like,
I don't know.
I never got that. Like, yo, that's how you make your funds to even
Yes,
begin with. Like,
yes.
You are aware that if you want to invest,
You need
have
money.
to have, you need money to invest with. And how do you think you get the money to invest with? By working a 9 to 5 job for the most part. Now, there are exceptions, obviously. But for most people, like, it's the 9 to 5. So I just never, it really, really always baffled me. Like, dude, that's how you make your bread. That's how you start out. So I've never personally had any issues with that, but I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a cancer or a poison, but like, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
It's just a trend. It's just a trend. Like that's why I kind of hate that word entrepreneur, because it's just like a buzzword that everybody's throwing out there. It's just a trend that's been going on. Majority of people work 9 to 5. 85% to 90% of people work 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you going towards your goals and you utilizing that money to go towards your goals. Hey, if your goal is to be a business owner, entrepreneur, by all means, go for it. But if you're just doing it because you don't want to be a 9 to 5er, I think that's ridiculous. You gotta feed your family somehow. Like,
yeah, I mean, you gotta have a plan in place. I mean, if that's the way
Right.
you want to go. But I'm like, 9 to 5 is, crucial. I mean, because that's gonna, it's gonna give you a purpose to, get up in the morning. It's gonna put some money in your bank account. You're gonna make money to, to live. You're gonna make money to save, and eventually, hopefully, you're gonna make money to invest. So,
Right.
that 9 to 5 could be the key. That could be
Exactly.
the thing that could start everything off. So like it's really, really crucial. And I just don't know why most people, overlook that. Like it's like when people think of 9 to 5, they think of like a very, very negative connotation to that. And me personally, I don't really see it that way. I'm very lucky and thankful to have a job. Obviously I don't want to make a call center of my career. I eventually want to move on up and do other things. But for right now, it's working out really fine for me. The money that I'm making, I'm saving it, putting it away, so that way I can try to create a better future for myself and eventually get to a point where I'm financially independent.
Perfectly stated. Exactly. It's the building block. Is obviously it's not your end goal, it's not your everything, but it's a building block. It's a tool you're using to get to where you want to go. And like, we all got to start somewhere.
It's like I think maybe like the best analogy to use is like climbing the mountain. You're not gonna get just dropped off right at the top of the mountain. You gotta, you gotta start in the beginning first. Gotta climb through those rocks. Maybe get in the middle. You're gonna have some hardships along the way because it's gonna be a long journey. And then when you get to the top, you know, you're gonna look back on it. You're like, wow, that was a fantastic journey. So
Very true. And the best thing, you can use your 9 to 5 to fuel your business if you want to start a business. So, and from being a business owner, I know it's like having a business costs money. Like it costs money to make money. Like you need money, and so where are you gonna get the money from? Your job, like that you're working.
exactly,
So
yeah.
there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Like they always say, have multiple streams of income. Usually 9 to 5 is your first stream, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly right. That's like that's what you build off around them. Like that's your main,
Exactly.
and then you have your subordinates.
Exactly.
Facts. I was listening to you guys. Sorry, yo, it was the
Yeah. How's
worst
that?
timing, bro.
How's that router treating you, bro? What's wrong
Yo,
with it, man?
worst timing, dude. Yo, and then like when it resets, so I don't know, someone who's not even home right now tried to print out something, like the printer started going downstairs, and like they were like, I don't know if it was like somebody, because like we have like you can like print from your phone, and then somehow the router got reset. It was the most random thing, and then it takes like 5 minutes once it gets reset to like come back in. So
Yo,
appreciate you
Steve,
boys holding down the fort.
I apologize, man. I was trying to print out my investment sheets.
You got some comments in here. Oh, Candace, bro, Marius, she said you have a great job. She asked where you guys invest with too, for investing. So, I mean, I can start and then kick it your guys' way if you want. I'm not sure if you invest, Marius, but I can.
I'm gonna just be honest. At the moment, I don't invest.
Yeah, that's
but
okay.
I eventually want to get into investing. Right now, I'm more so focused on saving. But investing in stock, investing in real estate is something that I plan on getting into. But for right now, I'm just saving.
Hey, man, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like that's the thing. Like you got good people around you, man, that can help you out, and that's the thing. Like we have so many resources now, right? Like YouTube and everything. You can always find ways. Like if you're a novice and new to it, the good thing is, man, you got a lot of good people around you who understand it a little bit more. So you'll be fine, bro. I would say for me, like I have an IRA through Vanguard. It's a Roth IRA, and then I also for like my short-term stuff, I use TD Ameritrade for like my brokerage account and stuff like that. I used to use what was it called, Robinhood.
Oh no, he froze again.
Oh man, dude. I'm telling you, man, the router's getting scared, Rob. That's what it is.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll let him come back. I guess I'll answer the question. So for me, I'm in multiple places. Mostly I'm in real estate. Like I said, I have a business that operates real estate, so my money goes there, but also a portion of it goes to a IRA, like Steve mentioned. So like it's kind of like 401k, Roth 401k, things like that, where I'm just giving a portion of my money to Vanguard, whatever it is, and I put it in an index fund. I don't really do individual stocks because it takes time that I don't have to like pick up and trade and do things like that. I'm more into an index fund. It's consistent. I think over time, over years, it's 8 to 10% growth.
Index funds, that was something that I actually wanted to get into, if you don't mind. So what's the difference between investing in an index fund and then investing like in a personal stock?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert on stocks like that, but I know I got a brief bit of knowledge in it. So the index fund it's a combination of, at least with the S&P 500, it's the top 500 companies in the United States, I'm pretty sure, and like they pool them together like in a big index, and then I'm pretty sure like they graph the growth of the index. So it's like all the companies pulled together. So when one drops out the 500, the next one that's rising comes in the 500. And then with individual stocks, it's kind of you just trading on the share price of that stock. So like if the stock, Apple is, let's say $15 one day, and then Apple gets some good news that they came with a new product and everybody wants to buy it, Apple jumps up to $25 the next day. So then you get a % increase. So that's your return on your investment. But that's watching one stock and making sure that that stock is not dropping too low, too high. But with the index, they're all pulled together. So it kind of tracks an index. That's why it's called an index fund. So that's the bit of knowledge I have on it. But I just put my money into that because it's safer and it's more predictable.
Right. No, I did hear it safer. Yeah. I mean, I want to make sure I get a good amount of my investments. I don't want to, come on the losing end. So like that was definitely something that I was definitely exploring. I do know that Steve is also, I don't know if he's investing already in index funds, but I think he was definitely thinking about that as well. And he did tell me that he also invested in some stocks as well. He actually told me that apparently when the pandemic hit back in 2020, a lot of the stocks were actually down. So he informed me at the time that at that time frame, it actually made sense to get into the stocks to buy them. Because eventually what's going to happen is, what's that good old saying? What goes down eventually has to come back up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then when it's on the way up, you'll be able to make a good amount of money on that. So I do know that a lot of people actually made some decent money apparently after the pandemic hit with the stock market.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's definitely a good avenue. Stocks, real estate, you can even invest in businesses in some forms. So that's really the kind of like the three asset classes that I mess with. Stocks. I'm primarily real estate in my business, but then like I said, I also have a Roth 401k that I put in money into an index fund. I just put it away and let it grow over time. I don't worry about it. But individual stocks, I have some individual stocks, but I feel like I have to watch it a lot and really like trace it, and I don't have the time for that. So like I only have a bit of money in there.
That's it.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. Dude, it reset it again. I'm not sure what's going on, dude. Like I work from home, so my computer all day, fine. But I'm not sure what's going on with my router. But
it's all right. Then me and Rob giving you a break for the week. You good?
Yeah, no. I was just kind of like following along that. Like, this great point you guys were talking about. Yeah, I think a lot of people they get kind of when it comes to investing, right, with like the individual stock type of stuff, they get like that's all you hear, right? When you're like here investing, got to invest in stocks. But I think index funds are like if you're gonna go like stock market wise, that's a great way to go. But individual stocks, I have some. But one thing I want to get to real estate too eventually. I know Rob, you have real estate and like you have some real estate that you invest in, which is I heard you were talking about. That's like like your primary like investments, real estate.
Primary, yeah, for sure. It's a lot of work though. Like people like to say real estate is passive. I don't think it's really passive. Like you got to be actively working it. It's a bit passive if you set it up right, but yeah, that's primarily what I'm in. That's why I don't have the time really to watch individual stocks because I'm like my mind is on working the real estate investments.
Yeah, and real estate, like if you do it right, can like make you like the money too, like the real like nice money. But it's like you said, it's not like super passive. I don't even own real estate, but I can understand like it's definitely you have to have your hands in it a little bit, and understand. And it's like if you're not like at a level where you have like 10 properties, where you have a property management company like watching it, you know what I mean? Like where you're at like a certain level. When you have like a few properties, you're gonna have to be like kind of on top of it and understand. But it's like I would treat it like as a journey, right? Like you learn things from like, managing real estate. It's kind of like something like it's like a little side thing that you're passionate about too. Like it's something, you get to learn and understand.
Yeah, even when you have a property manager, you still got to be involved and like manage it in some ways. And if you want to grow it to increase your investment, you got to know how to manage that as well. So you don't just sit back and let the money come in. You can in some ways, but it depends on how you set it up.
I remember we had an episode on this, and I remember you had said too, one of the biggest things is to always make sure you have like a like how you have an emergency fund for your savings. Make sure you have an emergency fund for if anything goes wrong with the property, because things will go wrong.
Yes, it's not if, it's when. So
exactly. So whatever you're collecting in rent, make sure you set aside a portion for things that go wrong, because a lot of people, I can imagine, do not do that. They probably just take that check, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go spend that money, and if you're not if you don't keep that little cash flow to the side, like it's something goes wrong, you're in trouble. You're gonna need to replace it.
And that's the thing about when you have a business, you have to reinvest the money. I don't pocket any of the money I make.
Right.
I reinvest it to grow it further. And eventually when you get to a point that you want, you can start pulling money out. But I definitely recommend reinvesting, whether it's your business, whether it's stocks, whether it's your 401k, to get that compound. Because you start pulling it out, you're missing out on some opportunities.
Right. It's like if stocks, if you have like certain money that you're profiting from it, it's like, or you're getting dividends every year, annual dividends. Take that money, put it right back. That's how you make your money. Index funds, when it comes to investing, it's not completely hands off, but that's a good passive way. If you really don't want to put your hands into anything or have to really worry about anything, if you have money taken out of your account each month in an automatic system where you're having it go into index funds, that's a real passive way to invest. So if you're going to hit the stock market and you don't want to have to sit there and be looking at it all the time, index funds are a great way. I think I've explained it before. All an index fund is it mirrors the market. So it could mirror the S&P 500. It can mirror the NASDAQ. It can mirror the Dow Jones. But all it is mirroring a market. And what do they tell you? The average of the stock market over time is it goes up. So it's more of index funds are usually a long-term strategy, but it's passive. It's money that just goes into your account each month. That's why they say with retirement accounts a lot of times, index funds are great because you just throw the money in every month to your different index funds and let it sit over time, and the average of the market goes up over time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to do it. I don't know if you guys heard. I was saying I had an IRA through Vanguard, and then my brokerage accounts through TD Ameritrade, and then I have a savings account too, and then you have your standard checking account too. But I really want to get into real estate, eventually. I'm blessed to have people around me that already do have property, so I'm sure I can learn things like from somebody like you, Rob, and other people. Like I'm sure I can learn things from people.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Somebody asked me, is that a T-Mobile router? No, it's actually a Verizon router. So it's Verizon. I have FiOS, but FiOS is usually pretty good. But I feel like no shots to George here, but I feel like I'm having a George Wi-Fi day here. George's Wi-Fi is always acting up on him.
Now I can see why George got sick. It was because of your router.
Somebody said Frozen Guy is back. It's true. I also wanted to say I'm gonna probably wrap up in like a second. Like if you guys are fine with that, I wanted to say you can invest. This is something everybody talks about, but I only invest a very small portion of my investment portfolio in this. You can invest in crypto, but I would say for that, there's plenty of apps out there that you can do it. You can use Coinbase is one of the most popular ones. There's other ones, but a lot of people get fascinated with crypto. They think like, I heard this new cryptocurrency is going to take off. Like the odds of you making a lot of money in crypto, unless you have like big money to invest, it's not going to make you like quick money. Odds are like Bitcoin. I only own two types of crypto. I own a very, very small portion in Bitcoin. I do not own a full Bitcoin because of what it costs. And I own a very small portion of Ethereum. That's it. I just own portions of those two. But I know people are going to say crypto for investing in stuff I don't have a lot of crypto. It's very small.
Yeah, I stay away from crypto.
Yeah.
It's
volatile, man.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's not backed by something I can understand. But it is lucrative to some people, so I'm not gonna knock it. But it's just me personally. No.
Yeah, understand what you're investing in for sure. Because don't just throw money at something because you hear about it. Somebody tells you, "Oh man, this is the new hot thing." I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not a financial advisor. I work in finance, but anybody who's like even a financial advisor, they don't know which way to market. They can do their best to. Over time, somebody might have a better percentage of predicting certain trends versus another person. But I'm gonna tell you what, long term, there is nobody that can perfectly predict the market. So you really don't know which way the market's gonna go. All you know is the average over time is long term. That market tends to go up, but nobody's going to be able to predict on a monthly basis which way the market's going to go this way or that way, or this stock's going to go up, or crypto's going to go like here. It's right. So. Just understand what you're investing in more than anything. Don't just invest into it because somebody tells you it's a hot new thing and, this is going to take off. They don't know.
Yeah, definitely do your research on it. Or at least try to talk to somebody that knows about it. that can guide you in a way. You don't want to just throw your money in places. That's how you lose your money. So
Yeah, we work too hard for that money. We work too hard for that money. Just throw it away, and it's like it's like gambling, man. You could go to it's like going to the casino, man, and then like you lose your money and you're pissed because you didn't do your research. But the thing is, it's like going to a casino, right? Don't go and spend money at the casino if you're not willing to lose that money because
yeah,
there's no guarantee you're walking away with something. Just because somebody else, the guy next to you, hit on a table doesn't mean you're going to be able to go to the roulette table and hit.
very true.
But yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Do you guys have anything to add before I wrap up?
I mean, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Good work.
Yep, I think we covered a good amount. I think it was
Yeah,
some good
man.
gems in this episode for sure.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, I appreciate you guys coming on. I think this was a really insightful episode.
Yeah, we definitely need more of these financial episodes moving forward. Definitely, I think it's going to help out a lot of people.
They're important, man. They're important because, like I said, like wealth, health, and like relationships, the big three, man. But your financial management is very critical because without it, it opens so many doors for you. If you have good money, it opens doors in a lot of areas, even like healthcare. You can afford the best healthcare in the world, which will keep you alive if you have money. But like, there's certain doors that aren't open to you in life if you don't have a certain amount of wealth. So it's important.
Yeah, it's very important. Hey, create a plan and work the plan, and then that's the best you can do. That's what I say. So, but
Exactly.
it's definitely very important. Right up there with oxygen. So.
It is, man. Someone I know that's a millionaire, what they said was they were like, people say all the time, money isn't everything. He's like, who people who say that? People who are broke. And he's like, and also whoever said money's everything. He's like, nobody ever said money's everything. But money allows you a lot of things in life that, if you don't have money, that you can't get access to. So it's like people usually that say that are usually hating, and like if they're broke, so like they're just gonna be like, if you're a millionaire, oh well, money can't make you happy. It's like, well, nobody ever said that. Money never said it's not the cure to everything, but it's important. It's a tool.
Right. It's very important. Like there's this saying that say like money's the root of all evil. Nah, poverty is the root of all evil. You're not saying you gotta be wealthy, but where is all the evil at? In impoverished places. I mean, you can't blame them. They hungry. That's where most of the evil's at. So,
What's he saying?
Money's very important.
Yes. What's he saying? Wolf of Wall Street. He's like, I've been a rich man and I've been a poor man. He's like, and I choose rich every time. he's like, I've been a rich man. I've been a poor man. I would say the worst, the root of all evil in life is like literally sloth, doing nothing with your life. Literally squandering your life is the worst possible thing you could do because you only get to be here one time.
Mm-hmm.
Squandering that life, that's the worst thing. I would say like squandered talent is the worst thing.
Wow.
Or one of the worst things for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Because I believe time is more important than money.
Yeah.
So squandering your life is basically wasting your time. So
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, the older you get, the more you realize how valuable time is.
Time is more important. Yeah.
Money returns, time doesn't.
Yeah. But the anomaly of life is like you need money to enjoy your time, but you need time to get money. So it's just it's a balance,
man. It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's a freaking balance. So
Goes
once you overcome that, life gets good.
Exactly. There's people their entire life that never ever care about making a lot of money too, and that's fine. It depends on what your lifestyle is and what your goals are. Some people are really happy just living straight middle class. They're fine with it.
Yeah.
They know that there's problems that come with every class. Let's be realistic. Like you could be wealthy, there's still gonna be you're still gonna have problems.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have to face, but everybody's life's different. How they want things, but. I just want to thank you boys for coming on tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for holding down the fort too when I got kicked out twice on here. So I'm not sure what was going on. Damn Verizon. But
special thank you to Steven's router.
Yeah, thanks, Fios. I'm not sure what's going on. There ain't no storms going on right now, but I don't know. Can't
Yeah,
can't
Rob,
predict it.
If you ever need to print something out, bro, we'll just use Steve's printer. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I think I don't know. I don't know if my brother was printing something, but it like messed up the whole thing. With that being said, guys, like I said, thank you. Next week's topic, guys, me and George are gonna have a guest on, and we're gonna be talking about how to become wealthy through a 9-to-5 job, or a typical like career job versus owning a business. There's gonna be some points from tonight that kind of roll into that. So I thought this was a good topic to kind of kick that off. But that being said, guys, yeah, like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Facebook, hit that like button if you're already with us. If you're watching the rebroadcast of this after, we're not live anymore, you can still comment below. We'll answer your comments. But yeah, again, just thank you guys for coming on tonight. Appreciate your time. I think this was an informative episode for a lot of people.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invite, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to coming back on here again soon.
Yes,
No
sir.
problem.
Me as well. Appreciate the invite.
No
Been a
problem,
pleasure,
man.
everybody.
Appreciate you guys. With that being said, guys, we'll be in touch, but have a great weekend. To everybody else, same thing. Have a good weekend. We're almost near 4th of July weekend. Crazy to believe. I think it's next weekend. It's already almost here. But for everybody else, see you guys next week for episode 133. Have a great week, great weekend. Have a good night, guys.
All right, good night, man. Good night.
Take care.